The paper slid across the desk. Face up. 17%. The room didn't gasp. It went silent. The kind of silence that makes your skin cold. He'd failed tests before, but never like this. Never where people could see. The boy in the back row, the one whose name opened doors, whose father owned buildings, whose money had always made problems disappear, sat frozen. And for the first time in his life, no one was coming to fix it. Across the hallway, a janitor was watching. She didn't smile, didn't look away, just stood there with a mop in her hand and something in her eyes that felt like a warning. She knew something about him that he didn't know yet, something that would cost him everything to learn. Before we go any further, I need to ask you something. Where in the world are you watching this from? Comment your city, your country, anywhere. I want to know this story is reaching you in the United States, Toronto, Africa, London, Sydney, wherever you are. Hit subscribe if you're still here. Now, let's go back to where it all started. Trenton Ashford couldn't remember the last time he finished anything that mattered. Not because he was lazy, not because he didn't care, because he never had to. When he was 12, he plagiarized an entire history paper, turned it in with someone else's name still in the footer. His teacher called his father. By Monday, the teacher was gone. Trenton got an A-. When he was 14, he failed freshman algebra 3 times. Each time, the grade disappeared, replaced with a passing score. Different tutor. Same result. His transcript stayed clean. By 16, he'd learned a rhythm. Fail quietly. Wait. Someone fixes it. He didn't ask who. He didn't need to know. The system worked around him like water around a stone. But water doesn't care about stones. It just moves. Trenton sat in the back of advanced calculus, staring at a test he couldn't read. Not because the questions were hard, because they didn't make sense. He'd never actually learned math. He'd just survived it. The room was silent except for pencil scratching. Everyone else was working. Trenton's paper was blank except for his name. He waited for the panic to hit. It didn't. Panic required stakes. And Trenton had never had stakes before. He drew a line through the first question, then another. Then he stopped pretending and put his head down. 40 minutes later, Mr. Calloway collected the tests without looking at him. Trenton walked out expecting nothing. 3 days later, the test came back. 17%. Not 17 out of 20. 17% total. The paper hit his desk face up. No folder. No privacy. The kid next to him glanced over, then looked away fast. Trenton picked it up. His name was circled in red. So was the score. For the first time in his life, someone had let it stand. He looked up. Mr. Calloway was watching him. Not angry, just watching. Office hours are Tuesday and Thursday, he said. If you want them. Trenton nodded. He didn't go. That weekend, his father didn't say anything. Not at dinner. Not in the car. Not once. Trenton waited for the phone call. The meeting. The quiet fix. It didn't come. Sunday night, he checked his grades online. 17%. Still there. He refreshed the page. Still there. He closed the laptop and sat in the dark. For the first time, failing felt permanent. And he didn't know what to do with that. Monday morning, Trenton showed up to calculus early. Not to study. Not to apologize. Just to see if the world had shifted back. It hadn't. Mr. Calloway was writing on the board. He didn't turn around when Trenton sat down. Other students filtered in. Some looked at him. Most didn't. When class started, Calloway handed back another assignment. Trenton got a 23. The girl in front of him got a 96. She smiled. He used to smile like that. Back when numbers didn't mean anything. After class, Trenton walked out slower than usual. The hallway was loud. Lockers slamming. Voices layered over each other. He moved through it like a ghost. Then he saw her. The janitor. She was wiping down a water fountain near the east stairwell. Older woman. Dark skin. Gray hair pulled back tight. He'd seen her 100 times. Never looked at her once. But today, she looked at him. Not with pity. Not with concern. Just looked. And then she said something so quiet he almost missed it. You ready yet? Trenton stopped. Ready for what? She wrung out her cloth. Didn't answer. Just moved down the hall. He stood there, trying to figure out what she meant. Behind him, someone laughed. He turned. 3 kids from calculus. Watching him. One of them held up his phone. Trenton's test score was on the screen. He walked away. Not fast. Not angry. Just away. And for the first time in his life, no one followed to fix it. Trenton stopped checking his grades after the 3rd week. Not because they got better, because watching them drop felt like drowning in slow motion. Calculus, chemistry, English lit, all falling, and no one was coming to pull him up. Thursday morning, Mr. Calloway handed back midterms. The room went quiet the way it always did. That hell-breath silence where everyone pretends they don't care, but they're all counting seconds until they see their score. Calloway moved down the rows. Paper after paper landing face down on desks. When he got to Trenton, he paused. Then he placed the test face up. 41%. In red. At the top of the page. Trenton felt his face go hot. Not from anger. From something he'd never felt before in a classroom. Exposure. The kid next to him shifted in his seat. Didn't say anything. Didn't need to. Trenton flipped the paper over, but it was too late. 2 rows up, someone coughed to hide a laugh. Lunch was worse. He sat alone, which wasn't new. But today people looked. Not directly. Just enough. A glance. A whisper. Eyes sliding away when he looked back. He picked at his food and didn't eat. Across the cafeteria, he saw the janitor again. She was emptying trash near the vending machines. Moving slow. Methodical. She looked up once. Right at him. Then went back to work. No smile. No nod. Just that same look from the hallway. Like she was waiting for something. After school, Trenton walked past the library and heard his name. He stopped. Voices coming from inside. Low but clear. I don't know how he even got into AP classes. His dad probably bought his way in. Yeah, but you can't buy your way through Calloway doesn't play that. Good. Kids like that need to learn. Trenton's hand was on the door handle. He let go. Kept walking. His chest felt tight, but not like crying. Like something breaking that couldn't be put back. That night, his father came home late. Trenton was in the kitchen when he walked in. Tie loose. Jacket over one arm. He set his briefcase down and looked at Trenton for a long time. Your school called. Trenton nodded. They said you're failing 4 classes. 5. His father's jaw tightened. What do you want me to do about it? Trenton blinked. That wasn't the question he expected. I don't know. Neither do I. His father poured himself water. Drank it standing at the sink. I made calls after the calculus test, he said quietly. No one returned them. Trenton stared at him. You don't get it, his father continued. This school isn't like the others. They don't care who I am. He set the glass down harder than he needed to. You're on your own. Then he walked out. Trenton sat there in the silent kitchen. For the first time, his father couldn't fix it. And that scared him more than failing. Friday morning, Trenton showed up to calculus with nothing. No homework. No excuses. Just himself. Mr. Calloway was at his desk. He looked up when Trenton walked in. You coming to office hours? No. Why not? Trenton stopped at his desk. Put his bag down. Because I don't know what to say. Calloway nodded slowly. That's the first honest thing you've said all semester. Trenton sat down. The room filled up around him. Same faces. Same whispers. But this time, he didn't flip his test over when it came back. 38%. Lower than before. He left it face up on his desk. Let them look. After class, he took the long way to his locker. Past the east stairwell. The janitor was there again. Mopping the floor in slow, even strokes. He stopped a few feet away. She didn't look up. You said something to me, Trenton said. Last week. I say a lot of things. You asked if I was ready. She kept mopping. Still asking. Ready for what? She stopped. Wrung out the mop. Finally looked at him. To stop waiting for someone to save you. Trenton's throat went tight. I'm not waiting. Yes, you are. She picked up her bucket. Moved past him. He turned. What if I can't do it? She paused. Didn't turn around. Then you'll fail. But at least it'll be yours. She disappeared around the corner. Trenton stood there, breathing hard. Behind him, footsteps. He turned. Mr. Calloway was standing in the hallway, watching him. "Office hours," he said. "Tuesday. 4 o'clock. I'm not asking." Then he walked away too. And Trenton realized something. He'd just been seen. Not as a name. Not as a problem. As someone who might still choose to show up. Trenton showed up to office hours. Not because he wanted to. Because the alternative was going home to silence. Mr. Calloway's room was empty except for one other student. A girl Trenton didn't recognize. She left 5 minutes after he arrived. Calloway slid a practice test across the desk. "Start with number 1. Show your work." Trenton picked up the pencil. Stared at the page. "Put the pencil down. I don't know where to start." "Then start wrong. I'll tell you where you went off." Trenton tried. Got halfway through the first problem before his brain tangled itself. Calloway walked him back. Step by step. It took 40 minutes to finish 3 problems. When Trenton left, he felt worse than when he came in. Because now he knew exactly how far behind he was. Wednesday after school, Trenton stayed late in the library. Not studying. Just sitting. The building emptied out slowly. Voices fading. Doors closing. By 5, it was just him and the hum of the overhead lights. Then he heard the squeak of wheels. The janitor pushed her cart past the library entrance. Stopped when she saw him through the glass. She didn't come in. Just stood there. Trenton got up. Walked to the door. "You need something?" she asked. "No." "Then why are you still here?" He didn't have an answer. She studied him for a long moment. Then nodded toward the hallway. "Walk with me." They moved through the empty building in silence. Her cart squeaked. His shoes scuffed the tile. She stopped at a classroom. Unlocked it. Went inside. Trenton followed. She started wiping down desks. One by one. Slow and thorough. "You go to that office hour?" she asked without looking at him. "Yeah." "Help?" "No." "Good." Trenton frowned. "Good." She moved to the next desk. "If it helped, you'd think you were fixed. You're not. Then what's the point?" She stopped. Looked at him dead on. "The point is you showed up even though it hurt. That's different than being saved." Trenton felt something twist in his chest. "I'm failing everything." "I know. Doesn't that bother you?" "Why would it bother me?" "Because," he stopped. "I don't know." She went back to wiping. "You think I'm supposed to feel sorry for you?" "No." "You think I'm supposed to tell you it'll be okay?" "I don't know what I think." She tossed the rag into her cart. Turned to face him fully. "You spent your whole life having people clean up your messes. Now you want me to do it too." "I'm not asking you to." "Yes, you are. You're standing here waiting for me to say something that makes it easier." Her voice wasn't mean. Just clear. "I'm not going to do that." Trenton's throat went tight. "Then why are you talking to me at all?" She picked up her cart handle. Started pushing it toward the door. "Because you're the first person in this school who's failed long enough to notice I exist." She stopped in the doorway. "Most people get saved before that happens." Then she left. Trenton stood there alone in the empty classroom. His hands were shaking. That night, he tried to do his calculus homework. Got through 2 problems in an hour. Both wrong. He threw the pencil across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. He sat there breathing hard. Then he picked it up. Started again. Thursday morning, another test. Trenton filled in what he could. Left half of it blank. When Calloway collected it, he didn't say anything. Trenton didn't expect him to. The test came back Monday. 29%. Worse than the last one. Trenton stared at it. The room felt too small. Too hot. He looked up. Across the room, someone was watching him. Not laughing. Just watching. He looked back down. The red ink blurred. He blinked it clear. After school, he found the janitor in the east stairwell again. She was scrubbing the baseboards. He stood there until she noticed him. "I got a 29, he said. She didn't stop scrubbing. "On what?" "Calculus." "What did you get before?" 41. She sat back on her heels. Looked at him. "So you're getting worse." "Yeah." "You going back to office hours?" "I don't know." "It doesn't help." She stood up. Wiped her hands on her pants. "It's not supposed to help." It's supposed to hurt less each time. That's the same thing. No, it's not. She picked up her bucket. Help is someone doing it for you. Hurt is you doing it scared. She started walking. Trenton called after her. What if I just keep failing? She stopped. Didn't turn around. Then you'll know what failing actually costs. She disappeared down the stairs. Trenton stood there. His phone buzzed. A text from his father. Dinner canceled. Work thing. He put the phone away. Walked to the library. Sat down. Opened his book. And tried again. Trenton started showing up early. Not to class. To the east stairwell. 6:45 in the morning. Before the buses arrived. Before the hallways filled with noise. The janitor was always there. She didn't ask why he came. Just handed him things. A rag. A spray bottle. A broom. Clean the windows on the second floor, she said the first morning. He took the supplies. Why? Because they're dirty. He waited for more. She didn't give it. So he went upstairs and cleaned windows. It took an hour. His arms ached. The streaks didn't all come out. When he came back down, she looked at the windows from the stairwell. Good enough, she said. Not good. Good enough. He came back the next day. A week in, she handed him a notebook. Old. Worn at the edges. Pages yellowed. Write, she said. Write what? Anything true. He opened it. The pages were blank. How much? Until you're done. She walked away. Trenton sat on the steps and stared at the empty page. He wrote one sentence. I don't know what I'm doing here. He closed the notebook. The next morning, she asked if he wrote. Yeah. How much? One sentence. She nodded. That's one more than yesterday. 2 weeks in, she gave him a book. Not a textbook. A novel. Old cover. Pages dog-eared. Read this, she said. For what? For you. I have homework. You failing that homework? Yeah. Then it can wait. He took the book. Read it in pieces. Between classes. During lunch. Late at night, when he couldn't sleep. It wasn't good. The writing was rough. The story wandered. But he finished it. When he told her, she handed him another one. This one's worse, she said. He read it anyway. 3 weeks in, Trenton got another calculus test back. 34%. He stared at it. Higher than the last one. But still failing. After class, he went to the stairwell. The janitor was sweeping. I got a 34, he said. She kept sweeping. You tell me that like I'm supposed to celebrate. It's higher. It's still failing. But I'm trying. She stopped. Leaned on the broom. Trying doesn't mean anything if you're trying to impress people. I'm not. Yes, you are. You want me to tell you you're doing good. You want your teacher to smile at you. You want your daddy to be proud. Her voice stayed even. But it cut. None of that matters. Then what does? She looked at him for a long time. Whether you can sit with yourself when no one's watching. She went back to sweeping. Trenton stood there. His chest felt hollow. That weekend, he sat in his room with a notebook. Wrote 3 pages. All of it angry. All of it raw. He read it back and felt sick. Closed the notebook. Opened it again. Kept writing. Monday morning, the janitor asked if he wrote. Yeah. Good or bad? Bad. Did you stop? No. She nodded. Handed him a mop. 3rd floor bathrooms. Don't rush it. He took the mop. Cleaned the bathrooms. Took his time. When he came back, she was gone. But there was a note on the step. You're learning slower than you want. That's the point. He folded the note. Put it in his pocket. Office hours that week were different. Calloway walked him through a problem. Trenton got stuck halfway. I don't get it, he said. Where exactly? Right here. This step doesn't make sense. Calloway explained it again. Slower. Trenton tried again. Got it wrong. Tried again. Got closer. When the hour ended, he'd only finished 2 problems. Calloway looked at his work. You're thinking now, he said quietly. I'm still getting them wrong. Yeah, but you're getting them wrong differently. Trenton didn't know what to say to that. Wednesday, another test. Trenton worked through it carefully. Showed all his steps. Left nothing blank this time. Even the ones he knew were wrong. When Calloway collected it, Trenton's hands were cramping. The test came back Friday. 42%. Higher than the 34. But not by much. Trenton looked at the grade, waited for the relief. It didn't come, just exhaustion. He folded the test, put it in his bag. After class, he found the janitor. I got a 42. She was wiping down a water fountain. Didn't look up. You happy about it? No. Why not? Because it's still failing. She straightened up, looked at him. Not smiling. Not proud. Disappointed. That's the wrong answer, she said. Trenton froze. What? You're still measuring yourself by the grade. That's the whole point. No, it's not. She picked up her supplies. When you can fail a test and know you did the work right, then you'll understand. She walked away. Trenton stood there, confused, angry, lost. That afternoon, someone found him in the library. Vice principal's assistant. Trenton Ashford? Yeah. You've been flagged for academic probation. We need to set up a meeting. She handed him a paper. Your father's been notified. Trenton took the paper. His phone buzzed. A text from his father. I can fix this. One call. Trenton stared at the message. His finger hovered over the reply. Then he turned off his phone and didn't answer. The meeting was scheduled for Tuesday. Trenton, his father, Vice Principal Hendricks. Monday night, his father called. I've spoken with someone on the board, he said. We can handle this quietly. Trenton sat on his bed, phone pressed to his ear. Handle it how? Academic intervention. Private tutoring on record. It adjusts your standing. What does that mean? His father paused. It means you won't be on probation anymore. Trenton's stomach turned. But I'm still failing. That's being addressed separately. By who? Does it matter? Trenton closed his eyes. Yeah, it does. His father sighed. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Be ready at 8. He hung up. Trenton sat there in the dark. His phone screen glowed. One call. That's all it would take. He thought about the janitor. What she'd say if she knew. He put the phone down. Tuesday morning, Trenton didn't go to the stairwell. He went straight to the vice principal's office. His father was already there. Suit pressed. Posture perfect. Hendricks shook his hand. Then Trenton's. They sat. We've reviewed your academic record, Hendricks said. Your current trajectory is unsustainable. Trenton nodded. His father leaned forward slightly. We understand, which is why we've arranged for additional support. Hendricks glanced at a folder. Support. A private academic counselor. Certified. They'll work with Trenton directly and report progress to the school. Hendricks looked at Trenton. Is this something you want? Trenton's mouth went dry. He looked at his father, then at Hendricks. What happens if I say no? His father's jaw tightened. Hendricks folded his hands. You remain on probation. If your grades don't improve by midterms, we'll have another conversation about your enrollment. The room went quiet. Trenton felt his pulse in his throat. How much time do I have? 6 weeks. His father cut in. Which is why the counselor is necessary. I'll do it without the counselor. His father stared at him. Trenton, I'll do it on my own. Hendricks studied him. You understand what you're committing to? Yeah. And you're confident you can improve without intervention? Trenton wasn't confident about anything, but he nodded anyway. Yes. Hendricks looked at his father. His father's face was stone. Fine, Hendricks said. 6 weeks. We'll reconvene after midterms. He stood. The meeting was over. Outside the office, his father grabbed his arm. Not hard, but firm. What are you doing? What you told me to do. Handling it myself. That's not what I meant. I know. His father let go. Stared at him like he was looking at a stranger. You're going to fail. Maybe. And then what? Trenton didn't have an answer. His father shook his head. Walked away. Trenton stood there. Hands shaking. He'd just refused help. And he had no idea if he could actually do this. First period was calculus. Pop quiz. 10 questions. 20 minutes. Trenton worked through each one slowly. Checked his steps twice. Left 2 blank because he didn't know them. But the rest he tried. When Calloway collected them, he didn't look at Trenton. Just moved to the next desk. Lunch was in the library. Trenton sat alone with his notebook. Wrote 4 pages. About the meeting. About his father's face. About how scared he was. When he finished, his hand hurt. He closed the notebook, looked up. The janitor was standing in the doorway, watching him. She didn't come in, just nodded once, then left. The quiz came back Thursday. 51%. Passing. Barely. Trenton stared at it. His first passing grade in 2 months. He waited for the relief, for the pride. It didn't come. Just the sick feeling that it wasn't enough. After class, he went to the stairwell. The janitor was there, mopping the same spot she always mopped. I passed a quiz, he said. She didn't stop. Congratulations. Her voice was flat. Trenton frowned. I thought You thought I'd what? Celebrate. She wrung out the mop. A 51 isn't passing. It's surviving. It's better than failing. Is it? She looked at him. You compromised in that meeting. Took the coward's road. And now you think one quiz makes it okay. Trenton's chest went tight. I didn't take the help. You thought about it. That's enough. She picked up her bucket. When you can walk into a room full of people offering you easy answers and not even hesitate, then come talk to me. She started down the hall. Trenton called after her. I said no. She stopped, turned around. You said no because you were scared of what I'd think, not because you knew it was wrong. Her eyes were hard. That's not integrity. That's performance. She walked away. Trenton stood there, breathing hard, angry, hurt. That night, another calculus test. Trenton studied for 3 hours, worked every practice problem in the book, checked his answers twice, went to bed at midnight, woke up at 5, studied more. The test was Friday morning. 18 questions. Trenton worked through all of them, showed every step, double-checked everything. When time was called, his hand was cramping. But he'd finished. Calloway collected the tests. Trenton sat back, exhausted. The test came back Monday. 47%. Failing. Worse than the quiz. Trenton stared at the red ink. All that work. All those hours. And he'd still failed. He looked up. Across the room, people were smiling, comparing scores, celebrating. He folded his test, put it away, and felt something break inside him. After school, he found the janitor. She was wiping down lockers. He stood there until she noticed. I failed, he said. I know. I studied. I tried. I did everything right. And I still failed. She stopped wiping, looked at him. So what are you going to do about it? Trenton's voice cracked. I don't know. She nodded. Now you're ready. She walked away, and Trenton stood there, alone, broken, finally ready to learn. Something shifted after that. Trenton stopped trying to win, started trying to understand. He showed up to office hours twice a week. Didn't ask for praise. Just worked. Calloway stopped explaining things twice. Started waiting for Trenton to find his own way through. The problems got easier. Not because they changed. Because Trenton did. 3 weeks later, a calculus test came back. 68%. Passing. Actually passing. Trenton stared at it. Checked the name at the top to make sure it was his. It was. Around him, people were talking, comparing answers. No one looked at his paper this time. He folded it carefully, put it in his bag. After class, Calloway stopped him. Good work. Trenton nodded. Thanks. You're figuring it out. Yeah, I think so. Calloway almost smiled. Keep it up. Trenton walked out. For the first time in months, he felt something close to pride. At lunch, 3 people he barely knew stopped by his table. Heard you passed Calloway's test, one of them said. Yeah, that's solid. He doesn't curve anything. They sat down, started talking like he'd always been part of the group. Trenton didn't know what to do with that, so he just listened. That night, his father came home early, walked into the kitchen where Trenton was doing homework, set his briefcase down. Your school sent an update. Trenton looked up. Yeah. Your calculus grade is up. Chemistry too. I've been working. His father nodded slowly. I can see that. He poured himself water, drank it standing. I'm proud of you. The words landed strange. Trenton didn't know what to say. Thanks. His father lingered for a moment, then left. And for the first time in a long time, the house didn't feel cold. Friday morning, Trenton went to the stairwell. The janitor was there, wiping down railings. I passed my calculus test, he said. She didn't look up. Good for you. 68%. Uh-huh. Trenton waited for more. She kept wiping. You don't seem happy about it. She stopped, turned to face him. You want me to throw you a party? No, You passed one test. So what? Her voice wasn't mean, just neutral. You think that's the finish line? Trenton frowned. I didn't say that. You're acting like it. She picked up her bucket. People are being nice to you now. Your daddy's proud. Your teacher smiled. She looked him dead in the eye. And you're eating it up. Trenton felt heat rise in his chest. I earned this. Maybe. Or maybe you just figured out how to play the game better. She started walking. Wait. She stopped. Didn't turn around. This isn't it, she said quietly. Then she left. Trenton stood there, confused, angry. The next test was the following Wednesday. Trenton studied the same way he had before. Showed up ready. Worked through every problem carefully. Finished early. Felt good about it. The test came back Friday. 53%. Failing. Trenton stared at the number. Read it 3 times to make sure it was real. He'd done everything right. Checked his work. Followed every step. And he'd failed anyway. Around him, people were celebrating again. The girl next to him got an 89. She didn't look at him. Trenton folded the test. His hands were shaking. After class, Calloway called him over. What happened? I don't know. You studied? Yeah. Calloway looked at the test. Flipped through the pages. You're making small mistakes. Rushing at the end. I wasn't rushing. Your work says different. He handed the test back. You got comfortable. That's when you slip. Trenton took the test. Didn't say anything. Walked out. Lunch was silent. The people who sat with him last week didn't come back. He ate alone. Stared at the test in his bag. One good score, and everyone acted like he was fixed. One bad score, and they disappeared. That afternoon, Vice Principal Hendricks pulled him out of English. We need to talk. They walked to his office. Sat down. Hendricks opened a folder. Your midterm grades came in. Trenton waited. Calculus is still failing. Chemistry is borderline. English is holding. He closed the folder. You're trending down again. Trenton's throat went dry. I'm trying. I know. But trying isn't enough. Hendricks leaned forward. We're going to be monitoring you more closely now. Weekly check-ins. Progress reports. Okay. If things don't improve by finals, we'll revisit your enrollment status. The words hit like cold water. Trenton nodded. Couldn't speak. After school, he went looking for the janitor. Found her in the gym, sweeping under the bleachers. You were right, he said. She didn't stop sweeping. About what? It wasn't it. She swept another section. I know. Everyone thought I was fixed. I thought I was fixed. And now, Trenton's voice cracked. Now they're watching me like I'm about to break. She stopped, leaned on the broom, looked at him. Good. Good. Yeah. Now the pressure's real. She went back to sweeping. You passed one test and thought you were done. That's not how this works. Then how does it work? She didn't answer right away. Just kept sweeping. Finally, you don't get to coast. Not anymore. Every step forward, someone's going to be waiting to see if you fall back. She looked at him. That's what being seen actually costs. Trenton stood there, his chest tight, his eyes burning. I don't know if I can do this. She nodded. Most people can't. She picked up her dustpan, walked past him, stopped at the door. But you're still here. Then she left, and Trenton stood alone in the empty gym, knowing the real fight was just starting. The weekly check-ins started the following Monday. Trenton reported to Hendricks' office every Tuesday at 3. Brought his progress reports, his test scores, his attendance record. Hendricks reviewed everything, made notes, dismissed him. It felt like being watched through glass. Third week in, Hendricks asked a different question. Who's been helping you? Trenton looked up. My calc teacher. Office hours. Anyone else? Trenton hesitated. No. Hendricks wrote something down. Students have mentioned seeing you with the custodial staff. Trenton's stomach dropped. I've talked to her a few times. About what? Nothing specific. Just life. Hendricks studied him. Life. Yeah. He closed his folder. Keep your focus on academics. That's what matters right now. Trenton nodded. Left. But the question stayed with him. Thursday morning, Trenton went to the stairwell. The janitor wasn't there. He waited 10 minutes. Still nothing. He went to class. Friday, same thing. Empty stairwell. No cart. No bucket. He asked another custodian in the hallway. You seen the woman who usually works the East Wing? The man shrugged. She's been reassigned. Different building. Which one? Don't know. They don't tell us much. Trenton stood there. Something felt wrong. Monday, he tried again. Still nothing. By Tuesday, people started talking. He heard it in the bathroom between classes. Did you hear about that janitor? The one always talking to that rich kid. Yeah. Apparently, she was coaching him or something. That's weird. Right? Like, what's she getting out of it? Trenton left before they saw him. Wednesday, Calloway pulled him aside after class. You doing okay? Yeah. What? Calloway glanced toward the door. Lowered his voice. I was asked about your progress. Who you've been working with. Trenton's pulse quickened. What did you say? The truth. That you come to office hours. That you're working hard. That's it. Calloway hesitated. They asked if anyone outside the faculty was involved. What did you tell them? I said I didn't know. He looked Trenton in the eye. But if someone is helping you, keep it quiet. Administration doesn't like unofficial interventions. Why not? Calloway didn't answer. Just squeezed his shoulder once. And walked away. That afternoon, Trenton went to Hendricks' office. Unscheduled. The secretary told him to wait. 20 minutes later, Hendricks let him in. This isn't your check-in day. I know. I need to ask something. Go ahead. Where's the janitor? The one who worked the East Wing. Hendricks' expression didn't change. Staff assignments aren't student concern. I just want to know if she's okay. She's fine. She's been moved to a different location. Why? Hendricks folded his hands. Personnel decisions are confidential. Did I get her in trouble? No one's in trouble, Trenton. But his tone said otherwise. Is there anything else? Trenton stood. No. He left. That night, he couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about what Calloway said. Administration doesn't like unofficial interventions. He'd gotten her moved. Just by talking to her. Thursday, rumors spread faster. Whispers in the hallway. Looks that lasted too long. Someone had seen them together. Someone else said she was fired. Another person said she quit. No one knew the truth. But everyone had a theory. Friday morning, Trenton found a note in his locker. Handwritten. No name. Systems don't attack what's broken. They attack what works differently. He recognized the handwriting. It was hers. He read it 3 times. Folded it carefully. Put it in his pocket. That afternoon, another check-in. Hendricks had new questions. Your grades are inconsistent. I know. Your teachers report you're distracted. I'm trying. Are you receiving outside help we should know about? Trenton met his eyes. No. Hendricks stared at him. If you are, it's better to disclose it now. I'm not. Silence. Then Hendricks closed the folder. Keep your head down. Focus on your work. Stop looking for shortcuts. I'm not. This meeting is over. Trenton stood. Walked out. His hands were shaking. That weekend, he wrote in the notebook. 10 pages. About the system. About how it smiled when he failed quietly. And turned cold when he tried to change loudly. About how the janitor was gone because she helped the wrong way. Not the way that kept things comfortable. Monday morning, calculus test. Trenton worked through it mechanically. Showed his steps. Finished early. Didn't feel anything. The test came back Wednesday. 61%. Passing. Barely. Calloway handed it back without comment. Trenton folded it. Put it away. After class, he stood in the hallway. Watched people move past him. Talking. Laughing. Easy. None of them being watched. None of them costing someone their job just by existing differently. Thursday, he went to the east stairwell anyway. It was empty. Different custodian. Different cart. Everything looked the same. But it wasn't. He sat on the steps. Pulled out the note. Read it again. Systems don't attack what's broken. They attack what works differently. He understood now. She wasn't removed because she did something wrong. She was removed because she made them uncomfortable. Because learning without permission looked too much like rebellion. That afternoon, Hendricks called him in again. Unscheduled this time. Trenton sat down. Waited. Hendricks didn't open a folder. Just looked at him. I'm going to be direct with you. Okay. Whatever you think you're doing, it's not going unnoticed. I'm just trying to pass. No. You're trying to prove something. Trenton stayed quiet. The staff is concerned. Your inconsistency. Your behavior. The questions you're asking. I haven't done anything wrong. You've made people uncomfortable. By studying? Hendricks leaned forward. By refusing help the right way and seeking it the wrong way. The room felt smaller. I want to be clear, Hendricks said. Your path forward is narrow. Any misstep, and we're done. Trenton nodded. Understood. Hendricks dismissed him. Trenton walked out and realized something. They weren't trying to help him anymore. They were trying to control him. The routine broke. Trenton stopped going to the stairwell. Stopped looking for her. She was gone. And he didn't know how to learn without her watching. First week, his calculus grade held. 63% on a quiz. Passing but flat. Calloway handed it back without comment. Trenton folded it. Felt nothing. Second week, chemistry test. He studied the same way he always did. Showed up. Worked through it. Finished. Got it back 3 days later. 59%. Failing. He stared at it. All the steps were right. But the answers were wrong. Third week, everything started slipping. English essay came back marked up in red. Lacks focus. Resubmit. Calculus test, 54%. History quiz, didn't finish. He wasn't forgetting how to do the work. He was forgetting why it mattered. Office hours felt different now. Calloway still helped. But Trenton couldn't focus. You're distracted, Calloway said one afternoon. I know. What's going on? Trenton didn't know how to explain it. Nothing. I'm just tired. Calloway looked at him for a long time. If something's wrong, you can tell me. I'm fine. He wasn't. The check-ins got colder. Hendricks reviewed his scores without expression. You're declining again. I'm trying. Not hard enough. He made a note. We're adding another layer of monitoring. Daily progress reports from your teachers. Daily? Yes. Trenton's throat went tight. That's not going to help. It's not about helping anymore. It's about accountability. Hendricks closed the folder. You have 4 weeks until finals. If you're still failing by then, this conversation ends differently. Trenton left, walked to his locker, leaned his head against the metal, closed his eyes. That night, he opened the notebook, stared at the blank page, put the pen down, couldn't write. Next morning, he walked past the east stairwell. Different custodian was there. Younger, earbuds in, didn't look at him. Trenton kept walking. Lunchtime, he sat alone. Didn't eat. Just stared at his phone. No messages. No one checking in. He thought about texting his father. Didn't. What would he even say? Thursday, another calculus test. Trenton barely finished. Left 3 questions blank. Not because he didn't know them. Because he couldn't make himself care. The test came back Monday. 49%. He folded it without reading the corrections. Put it in his bag. Felt the weight of it. After school, he walked to the gym. Sat in the bleachers. The space where she used to sweep. It was empty. Clean. Like she'd never been there. He pulled out the note she'd left. Read it for the 100th time. Systems don't attack what's broken. They attack what works differently. His hands shook. He folded the note. Put it back in his pocket. That weekend, his father tried talking to him. Knocked on his door Saturday morning. Can I come in? Trenton didn't answer. His father came in anyway. Sat on the edge of the bed. Your school called again. Silence. They said you're failing. Worse than before. Trenton stared at the ceiling. I know. What happened? You were doing better. I don't know. His father sighed. Talk to me. There's nothing to say. Trenton. I'm tired, Dad. His father stood. Hesitated at the door. I can still make calls. Fix this. No. You're going to lose everything. Trenton closed his eyes. I already did. His father left. The door clicked shut. Monday morning felt like drowning. Trenton moved through the halls like a ghost. People didn't look at him anymore. He was failing quietly again. And this time, no one cared. Third period, the intercom crackled. Trenton Ashford to the main office. Everyone looked at him. He stood, walked out. Hendricks was waiting. So was someone else. A woman in a gray suit, clipboard in hand. Sit down, Hendricks said. Trenton sat. This is Ms. Garrett. She's from the district. The woman nodded. We're here to discuss your academic trajectory. Trenton didn't respond. Your progress reports indicate severe decline, she continued. We need to understand why. I'm trying. Your teachers say otherwise. They say you're disengaged, unfocused. I'm doing the work, but not well enough. Hendricks leaned forward. We're considering removal from advanced placement courses, possibly a transfer to a different program. Trenton's chest went cold. A transfer, somewhere better suited to your current performance level. The woman made a note. We'll make a final determination after finals. But I wanted you to understand the stakes. She stood, left. Hendricks stayed. You have 3 weeks, he said quietly. Figure it out, or you're done here. Trenton walked out. His legs felt numb. He went to the bathroom, locked himself in a stall, sat on the floor, put his head in his hands. Didn't cry, just sat there, empty. After school, he walked the long way home, past the park, the library, the places he used to cut through. He ended up at the bus stop near the east side of town, sat on the bench, watched buses come and go. An hour passed, then another. The sun started setting. He stood to leave. Then he saw her, getting off a bus 2 stops down. The janitor, gray hair, same worn jacket, walking toward the crosswalk. Trenton's heart stopped. He started walking, then running. Wait. She turned, saw him. Her face didn't change. What are you doing here? She asked. I don't know. He couldn't finish. She studied him. You look terrible. I'm failing again. Worse than before. I know. How? People talk. She adjusted her bag. You stopped writing. How do you know that? Because you look lost. She started walking. Trenton followed. They might kick me out. I know. I don't know what to do. She stopped, turned to face him. Yes, you do. I don't. You're waiting for me to save you again. I'm not going to. Her voice was firm, but not unkind. I can't keep showing up for you. You have to show up for yourself. I don't know how anymore. She looked at him for a long time, then reached into her bag, pulled out a folded piece of paper, handed it to him. What is this? An address. Open mic night. Wednesday, 7 p.m. What? You want your voice back? Go use it. She turned, walked away. Trenton stood there, holding the paper, watching her disappear into the evening. Wednesday came too fast. Trenton held the address in his hand all day, folded and unfolded it between classes. An open mic at some community center across town. He didn't know what he was supposed to do there. Didn't know what he was supposed to say. After school, he went home, changed clothes 3 times, stared at himself in the mirror, looked away. 6:30, he took the bus, rode it to the east side, got off 2 stops early, walked the rest of the way, stalling. The community center was small, old brick building, faded paint, a handwritten sign on the door, open mic tonight, 7 p.m., all welcome. Trenton stood outside, watched people go in, college kids, older folks, people who looked like they belonged. He didn't move. 6:58. He almost left. Then the door opened. The janitor stood there, looking right at him. You coming in, or are you going to stand out here all night? Trenton's throat went dry. I don't know what I'm doing here. Neither does anyone else. That's the point. She held the door. He walked in. The room was half full, folding chairs in crooked rows. A microphone on a small stage. No spotlights. No cameras. Just people. Trenton sat in the back. The janitor sat 3 rows up. Didn't look at him. 7 o'clock, someone stood up. Older man. Walked to the mic. Read a poem about his daughter. Voice shaking. No one clapped when he finished. Just nodded. Someone else went up. A woman. Talked about losing her job. Then a kid. Barely 16. Read something about his brother. Every person that went up looked terrified. And every person finished. Trenton watched. His hands gripped the edge of his chair. No one was performing. They were just telling the truth. Out loud. Where it couldn't be erased. 8 o'clock. The room was thinning out. Trenton hadn't moved. The person running it looked around. Anyone else? Silence. Trenton's heart pounded. Last call, the person said. He stood up. His legs felt weak. Everyone turned. He walked to the front. Stood in front of the mic. The room was so quiet he could hear himself breathing. I don't have anything written, he said. His voice cracked. Someone in the front row nodded. That's okay, they said. Just talk. Trenton looked down, then back up. I've been failing. The words came out flat. Not just school. Everything. He swallowed. My whole life, people fixed things for me. I never had to finish anything that mattered because someone always stepped in. His hands were shaking. And then I got to this school where that didn't work anymore. And I started actually failing. Like, really failing. He looked at the janitor. She was watching. Face neutral. There was this woman. A janitor. She didn't help me the way I wanted. She just made me sit with how bad I was at things. Someone in the audience shifted. And I hated it. I hated her for not making it easier. His voice got quieter. But she was the first person who ever let me fail and didn't walk away. He stopped. Took a breath. Then the school made her leave. Because I was learning the wrong way. Because it made them uncomfortable. The room stayed silent. And after she left, I stopped caring. My grades tanked. They're talking about kicking me out. He looked down at his hands. I came here tonight because she told me to. And I don't know what I'm supposed to say. He looked back up. But I think the point is that I'm saying it anyway. His eyes burned. I don't know if I'm going to pass. I don't know if I'm going to stay at that school. But I know I'm not waiting to be saved anymore. He stepped back from the mic. No one clapped. A few people nodded. One person said, "Thank you." Trenton walked back to his seat. Sat down. His whole body was shaking. After, people filtered out. The janitor stood by the door. Trenton walked over. That it? He asked. That's it. I don't feel different. You're not supposed to. She looked at him. You just stopped hiding. That's all. She started to leave. Trenton called after her. What do I do now? She stopped. Turned halfway. You go back. You take your finals. You tell the truth when they ask you questions. What if I still fail? Then you fail honest. She walked out. Trenton stood there. Alone. But not empty. Thursday morning, he went to school. Walked different. People looked at him the same way. But he felt different. Calculus class. Calloway handed back a quiz. 56%. Trenton looked at it. Didn't fold it this time. Just set it on his desk. Face up. After class, a kid stopped him. You good? Trenton looked at him. Not really. But I'm here. The kid nodded. Walked away. That afternoon, Hendricks called him in. Your teachers say you've been quiet this week. Yeah. Distracted? No. Focused. Hendricks frowned. Your grades haven't improved. I know. Finals are in 2 weeks. I know. Hendricks leaned back. What's changed? Trenton met his eyes. I'm not trying to impress anyone anymore. Hendricks stared at him. Then what are you trying to do? Just be honest about where I am. Silence. Hendricks wrote something down. We'll see how finals go. Trenton stood. Walked to the door. Stopped. Can I ask you something? What? Why'd you move her? Hendricks' face hardened. That's not your concern. It is, though. Hendricks stood. This meeting is over. Trenton left. But he didn't feel small anymore. That night, he opened the notebook. Wrote for 2 hours straight. About the open mic. About standing in front of people with nothing prepared. About how terrifying it was to be seen without a script. When he finished, his hand ached. But he felt clear. Friday morning, he saw her. In the parking lot. Getting into an old car. She looked up. Saw him. Nodded once. He nodded back. She drove away. And Trenton walked into school. Ready. Finals week. Trenton studied differently this time. Not to pass. To understand. He worked through problems until they made sense. Not until they looked right. Monday. Calculus final. 3 hours. 20 questions. Trenton sat down. Read through the entire test first. Then started. Worked slowly. Showed every step. Got stuck on question 12. Sat with it for 10 minutes. Moved on. Came back to it later. Still didn't get it. Left it blank. Finished the rest. Time was called. He handed it in. Walked out. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel bad. Just felt done. Wednesday. Chemistry final. Same thing. Worked through what he knew. Skipped what he didn't. Finished early. Checked his work. Handed it in. Thursday. English final. Essay question. Write about a moment that changed you. Trenton stared at the blank page. Started writing. Didn't stop until time was called. Friday, the school emptied out. Finals were over. Grades wouldn't post until Monday. Trenton went home. His father was in the kitchen. How'd it go? I don't know yet. You feel good about it? Trenton thought about it. I feel honest about it. His father nodded slowly. Didn't push. That weekend, Trenton didn't check his phone. Didn't think about school. Just wrote. Filled the rest of the notebook. Monday morning. Grades posted at 8. Trenton logged in at 8:30. Calculus, 64%. Chemistry, 59%. English, 71%. All passing. Barely. He stared at the screen. Not celebrating. Not devastated. Just looking. 9 a.m., his phone rang. School. Trenton Ashford? Yeah. This is Vice Principal Hendricks. I need you to come in this afternoon. 2 o'clock. Okay. He hung up. 2 o'clock. Trenton walked into Hendricks' office. Sat down. Hendricks had a folder open. Your final grades came in. I saw. You passed. Yeah. Hendricks closed the folder. You understand you're on the lowest possible margin. I know. One more semester like this and you're out. Trenton nodded. Hendricks leaned back. I'll be honest. I didn't think you'd make it. Neither did I. Silence. Why do you think you did? Trenton looked at him. Because I stopped trying to survive and started trying to learn. Hendricks studied him. What's the difference? Surviving is about the grade. Learning is about what happens when you fail and keep going anyway. Hendricks didn't respond. Just made a note. You're cleared to continue next semester. Thank you. Trenton stood. Walked to the door. Stopped. Can I ask you something? Hendricks looked up. The janitor. Why'd you really move her? Hendricks set down his pen. Because she was teaching you something we couldn't control. What? That you didn't need us to succeed. Trenton stared at him. And that's a problem? It is when the system depends on you needing it. He picked his pen back up. You can go. Trenton left. After school, he took the bus to the east side. Got off at the same stop. Walked to the community center. It was closed. He sat on the steps outside. Waited. An hour later, she showed up. Saw him. Stopped. What are you doing here? I passed. She walked over. Sat next to him. Congratulations. Barely. Still counts. Trenton looked at her. You knew I'd passed, didn't you? She didn't answer right away. No. Then why push me? She looked ahead. Because most people quit before they find out who they are under pressure. And if I'd failed, then you'd know what it costs to try something real. Trenton sat with that. What was the secret? He asked quietly. She turned to him. What? The thing you were trying to teach me. What was it? She smiled for the first time. Small. Almost sad. There is no secret. Trenton frowned. What? Everyone's looking for the trick. The shortcut. The one thing that makes it all make sense. She stood. But there isn't one. Then what was the point? She looked down at him. The point was learning that you can fail and it won't kill you. That you can be seen without protection and still survive. She started walking. That's not a secret. That's just being human. Trenton stood. Wait. She stopped. What happens now? You go back. You do it again. You fail some more. You pass some more. That's it. That's everything. She walked away. Trenton watched her go. This time, he didn't follow. That night, he sat in his room. Opened the notebook. Flipped back to the first page. Read what he'd written months ago. I don't know what I'm doing here. He turned to a blank page at the end. Wrote one sentence. I still don't. But I'm here anyway. Closed the notebook. Next morning, Trenton woke up early. Got dressed. Walked to school. Past the east stairwell. Different custodian was there. Trenton kept walking. First period. Calculus. New semester. New material. Calloway handed out syllabi. This semester is harder, he said. If you struggled last semester, this one will test you more. He looked around the room. His eyes landed on Trenton. But if you made it through last semester, you know what it takes. He moved on. Trenton opened his notebook. Started taking notes. Not because he had to. Because he wanted to know. After class, someone stopped him in the hall. A girl from his chemistry class. Hey, you're Trenton, right? Yeah. I heard you barely passed last semester. Trenton tensed. Yeah, I did. She smiled. Me too. It was brutal. Yeah. You doing okay this semester? He thought about it. I don't know yet. Fair. She started walking. See you around. Trenton stood there. Then kept walking. Lunch, he sat alone. Not hiding. Just quiet. He pulled out the folded note. The one from the janitor. Read it one more time. Systems don't attack what's broken. They attack what works differently. He folded it back up. Put it in his pocket. That afternoon, he passed the east stairwell again. Stopped. Looked at the empty space. Then kept walking. After school, he went to the library. Sat down. Opened his calculus book. Started reading. Not because there was a test. Because he didn't understand chapter 1 yet. And he wanted to. An hour in, someone sat across from him. He looked up. A kid he didn't know. You're in Calloway's class, right? Yeah. Can I ask you something about the homework? Trenton looked at the problem. Worked through it. Explained what he understood. The kid nodded. Thanks. They worked in silence for a while. Then the kid left. Trenton kept reading. 6 o'clock, he packed up. Walked home. His father was making dinner. Good day. Yeah. Normal. His father smiled. Small. Real. They ate together. Talked about nothing important. It felt right. That night, Trenton opened a new notebook. Stared at the blank first page. Wrote, I used to think failing meant I was broken. Now I know it just means I'm learning. Not because someone saved me. Because I survived not being saved. He closed the notebook. Turned off the light. And went to sleep. Ready to fail again tomorrow. Ready to keep going anyway. The end.